Guys, this is Tisa, owner of Birmingham REI, creator of How to Start Investing for the Price of a Wig. As you guys know, I talk about how to start tax lien investing, right? Buying tax liens, deeds, how to start that, okay, in the state of Alabama. This is the same as tax properties that you may see on other channels like Chris Cron's channel, right? So let's get started, okay? Today I'm going to talk about how I purchased my first one, okay? What happened? Okay, guys, it's just hilarious. So just buckle up and enjoy. So this was several years ago, right? And what happened was, uh, I have relatives that do this, right? So I had been hearing about it, like even before they started doing it, I had been hearing about it. Oh my gosh, probably since the early 2000s. So I was like, you know what? Finally, once I start helping my relatives with their properties, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. So Christmas time, I've saved this money up for Christmas. So what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? So I was like, you know what? I'll just scale back Christmas, right? They're gonna be okay. And if anybody knows me, they know I am crazy about my babies, right? So this was not something that was easy for me to do, but I was like, every year, I don't know if you guys know, but every year, if you have kids, it's toys that they really like, toys they really don't like, right? So it may be one or two that they're crazy about. The rest of them are just sitting on the floor, right? So I used to be sitting there thinking, what could you have done with that money right there that you spent on all those toys, right? So this year I'm like, I'm gonna scale it back. Don't even worry about it, right? I'm gonna scale it back. They're gonna be okay. So I had talked to my partner at the time, and he was like, okay, Tisa, we're gonna do this, right? So long story short, it didn't go like I thought it was gonna go. So I end up, just because I was waiting on him, right, for his part. He didn't come up with his part. So I was like, you know what? Just do it by yourself, right? But to his credit, he did have my back on some other things, right? So he did help me in a way, right? So I was grateful for that. So I sent my money off. I'm super excited. Now, mind you, before I sent my money off, I looked up the property, went to what I thought was the property, right? Was a little thrown off because I had checked the parcel number and the street address, but it was something a little off about it because I was like, wait a minute, the street address, because the parcel number when I looked up the parcel number, it says, okay, this is the address, right? But when I looked at the GIS map, it was saying that the parcel was like down the hill from this property. But me, in my mind, and my wishful thinking self, because of course, your mind wants to believe what it wants to believe. I'm like, okay, if the street address says this house right here, then it can't be this empty lot down the street. Okay, red flag number one. Should just said, okay, Tisa, believe what your research is showing you, right? But no, 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 no. I'm going for it. Okay. And so because I was really thrown off because the address that's associated with the parcel number was to this house. All right. So it finally the tax paper comes back. It finally comes back. So I'm like, okay, I have it, right? So I'm gonna go up here. So mind you, I'm afraid to go up here by myself because you got to go up, like this house set up on a hill, and it had like all of these woods and stuff leading up to the hill. Like the driveway just literally disappeared into trees. Okay, like you cannot see the complete driveway. Okay, so it's just me and my babies, right? Because the person I was with, I didn't take him with me. I think he was at work or something. So I was like, anybody knows me knows I'm strong-willed. So I'm like, I'm going up here. I'm gonna see it for myself. So I go up there. Like I call the police to go with me because I could see that they had like cameras on either side of the driveway, like attached to trees. Okay. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going up to, I'm gonna go up here. So the police, I showed them what it was or whatever, because I did my research. Um, so I showed them what it was. And even though the police was there, they didn't want to go in front of me. So I'm like motioning to them to like, okay, no, you go up the hill first because I don't have anything. So they go up the hill. I go up there and I'm like, something is off, right? Just something is off. So thank God they were not. Oh, y'all, thank God these people were not at home because woo, it would have been a mess. So, uh, so we come back down, um, and I called like the post office. I called all these people, called the mapping department, which I should have did that before I sent my money in, right? That's why y'all hear me say all the time, every video, please do your research. Do your due diligence. Research it to death. If you have questions, call the courthouse. Call these people, right? Before you send your money in. But no, I'm just anxious. That's why the Lord says, do not be anxious for nothing. Okay? So here again, he's teaching me this lesson again. So I go back and I called the post office. I called, well, I'll tell y'all what I found out from the post office. They tell me that they have already told these people, okay, in the property that I think I got the tax. I don't know if it was a lien or deed or what. I think it was a deed, but anyway, um, they've told them several times to stop putting the wrong address on the property. Now, mind you, like when I heard that, oh my God, my stomach probably just caved in because I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing that you could put the wrong address on your house. Like, literally, I can remember like it was yesterday. They had those little markers. You know how you could buy from Home Depot or Lowe's or something, where you put the numbers on there and you put it like right there by the mailbox so the mailman, everybody can know your address. They had the wrong address on there intentionally, like it was not a mistake. And I think I talked to the postmaster general or something at the local post office, and they were explaining to me how they had talked, sent letters out, talked to the homeowner, telling them that that is, they can't do that. Don't, they need to correct it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, come to find out that what I actually had, and I think it was a deed, what I actually had the deed to, the tax deed to, was down the street, this little bitty lot, not little bitty, but in my mind, I'm like, I done went from this house up on the hill to this, right? So crushed, guys. I'm just crushed. I'm like, oh my goodness, And at the time my dad was still alive, and I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, "Doll, it's okay because they're not making any more land, right? So don't be upset about it. Like it's a good thing. I mean, I was so disappointed, right? But I'm emotional because I miss my dad. But yeah. So that was like the beginning of understanding the value of land. Cause okay, once he told me that, I'm like, okay, like that has stuck with me to this day. Like, it doesn't matter. I've had so many people tell me that again and again over the last few years. Like, it doesn't matter how small the lot is, land is valuable. Land is valuable, guys. So, but at the time, I was just so crushed, and I had friends, and they were like, "Oh no, you need to try to get your money back. That's not right." Blah blah. Right. So I talked to the guy in the mapping department, and just coincidence, um, he was familiar with this area where the land was, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's plenty big enough. If you ever wanted to put a house there or anything, don't worry about it." So mind you, I'm getting all this good news, but I'm just focused on the fact that it's not what I thought it was. So eventually I accepted that, because you cannot get your money back. There's no such a thing as contacting the state and being like, oh yeah, this, telling them what happened and, making them give your money back. At least I've never heard of that happening, but it may be possible for somebody else, but that just wasn't an option. And I thought, okay, how can I move forward? Right? Like, that's always the blessing. How can I move forward? So I was like, well, I'll just sell it. So that's how I found out that yes, you can sell them the taxi. I was like, I'll just sell it. And I put the sign up and totally forgot about it. Like, literally, I had so much going on in my life. By the time that, because eventually the people that live next door, they bought it. But by the time that I realized that those people had been trying to get in touch with me for months, like during that time period, like my dad had passed, I moved to a different house, like just so much stuff was going on. So the awesome thing was that what my dad said was absolutely true. Um and I learned a lot, right? Like, I learned a whole bunch with that experience, but it came with a lot of heartache, frustration, because I was just so outdone that it was not what I thought it was. But it also, I'm telling y'all, you guys, it also taught me to be diligent in my research. And once you start seeing things that don't mix, like things that just seem like out of the ordinary, it doesn't make any sense. That means you need to ask more questions. Like, that means that you need to probably call or go up to the courthouse or something. Like, you need to dig for the answer, because if it don't make sense, it just doesn't make sense. Like, that address not being, the address being on the wrong property, that was just a huge red flag. That was for me to say, something's going on with this address. But because in my mind, this is what I wanted, I just didn't accept it. Woo! Lesson learned, right? You have to accept things for what they are, not for what you want them to be. And so this right here, it really gave me, it made me excited, because once I sold it, I have a picture with the people I sold it to. We were so excited. Once I sold it, I thought, oh, you know, new source, new way to make money, right? But also I had that experience with my kids, like the picture that we took, my kids were there, all that kind of stuff. It was a lesson beyond me. It was a lesson bigger than me, but it allowed me to really get into this. It allowed me to know that I have the confidence to do what I need to do. But it also taught me that you just need to research, research, research. Um, to equip yourself with the knowledge to make a good decision for you before you spend your money. Okay. So that's my story, guys. That's the first one that I did. I've been promising y'all that I was gonna make this video to tell you about it since the first video on that I ever made about this. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want more information, if you are thinking about starting but you don't know where to start, I have a coaching, do have coaching sessions available. So I will leave that link in the description of this video. I hope you guys found this video useful. And until then, hope you guys have a great week.